What's beautiful about this sport to you? Like, what makes it so something that you're so passionate about?
That when it comes right down to it, the purity when you get out there and it's just you fighting this person, and it's about as honest a moment as most humans will ever even have in their life.
Yeah, it's beautiful, really.
Now switch it over to, you spent a lot of time fighting in Japan, you spent a lot of time fighting in North America. Have you got a girlfriend right now?
I do.
Where's she located?
She's located wherever I'm at usually.
Nice.
Is she North American, or is she from Asia?
Oh, yeah, she's from Seattle, same as me.
Okay, cool. And is this a long-term relationship?
8 years.
Oh, okay. So we can't talk too much smack about your activity.
Yeah.
Is she scared when you fight? Is she excited? Is she thrilled? What's the story?
I wouldn't say scared, but she does get quite nervous.
Yeah. How about your family or people like that? I mean, you guys are heavyweights. Like, it's bloody. It's always violent. Like, the top you fight the top heavyweights in the world. I mean, is there anyone in your family that just doesn't want you to do it?
No. Well, they didn't really want me to get into it to begin with. They felt that I had potential talents that would be better suited.
Yeah, your brains,
for later
right?
on in life, and to exploit those instead. But when I told them this is what I'm going to do, there's nothing or nobody that's going to change my opinion on that. They knew to stick behind me at least. And then when it started to become what it has right now, then of course I don't think they would see me doing anything else.
Now, Josh, you've when Pride got taken over by the UFC, you didn't stay in with that organization. Do you ever see yourself going back into the UFC? You've been away for a few years.
Not a problem for me necessarily, as long as the terms are right.
Yep.
Fights and fights.
How's your relationship with Dana and the organization? Is that still good?
I don't think I have any kind of relationship with Dana or the organization, really.
Right, because you last fought in the UFC back in 2002. So it's been some time.
Yeah, but that they want the top guys in the world, and they would want
there
him.
you go.
It's
right?
whether or not they would pay him and take care of him the way that he can get taken care of in other places in the world.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily if they always want the top guys in the world per se, but they've got their idea of what it is that they want and how that they want to get it, anyways.
Hey, we always ask guests. Again, Josh, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. We love having you here and talking to you. We always ask guests, to ask the next guest a question. So we're going to ask you a question for Tom Atencio. But last week we had Kenny Florian here, and I hadn't been paying attention. I had no idea that you guys had a bit of a thing or that there was an issue. And he mentioned that he had made a comment while being a reviewer or being a broadcaster, just with his broadcaster's hat on, and you didn't like it. What was that all about?
Well, I'm not foreign to having to be subjected to criticism or public opinion or anything like that. And honestly, in general, I don't really have any issue with that. But MMA being as young as it is and coming from the sort of development that it did via the internet and sort of, I wouldn't say counterculture, but things that were off the map. We have a lot of people that aren't very professional in this, in terms of in the position of reporting or talking or whatnot. And even
like us,
I accept that.
Yeah, we're the pinnacle of unprofessionalism.
Yeah, go on.
But in terms of Kenny, he's on this internet show for ESPN, and fights are fights, and they can't always be their best. And sure, you can speak on what it is, but he took a very personal and derogatory tone about me and was very condescending. And I just sat back and I thought, what the heck, that's a bunch of bullshit. Why are you gonna? What is your deal, man?
Yes.
Obviously, you got some personal issue with me or whatnot, but now you're taking it out onto the show. And I got other fighters writing me emails going, "Hey, you see Kenny Florian, talking shit on you?" I go, "What?" I go and I look at it, and even his co-host is trying to sort of
change the subject.
Yeah, not even change the subject, but just sort of be like, this. Hey, well, you can't deny this, and you can't deny that. And, what about these good things? And Kenny, has to go right back to being, in general, very pompous and arrogant. And I got out. I was fucking around on another show, and I was I railed on him a little bit. Then he wrote something else, and then I had his attention. I wrote him a very professional letter, anyways, and I just said, till you even have as many fights as I have wins, maybe you should just keep your thumb up your ass and stop talking shit.
Well, maybe a catch weight fight.
Yeah, like 200. Meet him at 200.
I give me a flag for that too. If the guy's gonna talk shit, and then I say, hey, you want to talk head? Go ahead, and why don't you show me how tough and how skilled you are?
Yep.
And people are like, oh, could you call out that guy? He's so much smaller than you. And blah blah blah. And
yeah, well, how can he talk that shit?
You're standing on the street, and a guy who's like, well, I don't know, 5'8" and 150 turns to you and calls you a punk ass bitch. You just gonna let him do it? Oh well, I've got 50, 60 or whatever pounds on the guy. I can't fight him. There's an unwritten rule about that. No, you're gonna slug him. You're gonna kick the crap out of him, and you're gonna kick his dog at the same time.
For sure.
So,
well, we here in this broadcast booth up here in Canada both weigh in the under 150 range. With that logic, we could just mouth off everybody and just get a free pass.
Yeah, pretty much, unless it's a little child that turns to you and says, screw your mom. You can't hit him.
Yeah.
Right. Well, actually, technically, Josh, you could take on Robin and I, because together we weigh close to about 290.
Yeah.
So, there you go. It's a law of averages.
Right. So we could be like a tag team against you.
I have 3 fights, but they weren't that awesome, and Jonathan can't fight at all.
I fought a girl in grade 8.
Yeah.
And I did all right, but it kind of went bad way towards the end.
Well, that's gonna happen.
She had endurance. She had a lot of cardio, and I didn't know what to do.
That would have come in handy with something else. But yeah, we don't want to keep you too long, Josh. We really appreciate you being on the show. Is there, another thing we always ask? Do you have just an awesome story for us? Just pull an awesome story out of your ass. MMA related, travel related, anything. Lay it on us.
Oh, well, I have plenty of stories. I just always got to think about the ones that I can actually tell.
No,
you can tell any of them. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, I'm sure to a certain extent that is true, but
there's no law governing what you say.
About business, at least the way I see it. But a lot of things that go on, I just, I see it, but I've never seen it.
Think of this as international waters.
Tell us one you think you can tell us.
Well, it also has to be one that would either be interesting or funny.
Funny.
On an off day.
Let's go for funny rather than interesting. You ever punch somebody so hard they shit their pants?
I'm still waiting for that moment. To be honest.
Punch Jonathan.
Well, I once after a pro wrestling match in Hiroshima, of all things. This was 5 years ago. I was working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Antonio Inoki has a thing where he slaps people, and impart his fighting spirit into them. And so we're at this after party joint, and there are these Japanese fans all hanging around or whatever. And so they're talking, hey, how about you start slapping people? And I go, it's not my thing, that's not my gimmick anyway. And then one guy's like, well, I want you to slap me. So we went outside, and I cracked that dude. He dropped to a knee, and then like 6, 7, 8 more people lined up.
After seeing you drop the guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
nice.
So I, had to put a sting on some people.
And one after the other, you put him down?
Yeah, I slapped him pretty hardcore.
And were you under the influence of alcohol or those mushrooms that they sell in machines in Japan?
Absolutely not. I was stone cold sober.
Ah. Do you drink when you're in between fights? Will you have a few drinks here and there?
Not very often. I like to drink at the after party for the celebration of my fights. Yeah. But in general, I'm not a big drinker.
And what about junk food? When right now you're in between fights, right? So you're training, you're trying to stay in shape, but do you follow your diet perfectly? Do you train every day? What does it consist of for you right now?
Training every day, but I try to err on the side of caution in terms of diet, but you have your issues.
Yeah. Well, let's. We don't want to keep you forever, although we would if we could. But can you ask us give us a question to ask Atencio, or a comment, or something you want us to tell him?
Oh, absolutely. Ask him to see how his belly button piercing has healed up. I heard he had some troubles with it. He had that infection a while back, and then I think he let it heal up and he got it redone. So.
He had it pierced, or he just was oozing from his belly button?
No, pierced.
Okay. Yeah, we'd love to have you again. Tell Alex, next time you see Alex, can you punch him in the face and tell him it's from Robin?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here, man. It's been a real pleasure.